Hello, good morning. I thought we'd start by looking at Bitcoin futures this morning because we've got another gap, and it's quite an interesting technical setup in this futures chart. If we take a look at where we are, we closed on Friday with quite a bearish reversal candle. It's not. It's engulfed the entire previous day's open close. So, and we closed at the lows. So, although we didn't make a new high, the fact that we engulfed both the open and close, the entire range, makes this a bearish reversal candle for Bitcoin. So here we are, we've opened back up again at the highs. We've got this kind of range going on. Let's go down and look at this on a 15-minute, because this squeezed quite a lot higher last night, and a lot of people were quite interested. When I was learning to trade stocks, and stocks, gap all the time because they close every night, I was taught this little trick that you would, if you wanted to know if you're going to do a gap fill trade, where would you put your stop? And I was always taught that you would look for the gap to go 50% beyond. So if you look at the open close of the gap or the width of the gap, you would put your stop more than you would take that distance, and your stop needed to go more than that distance. And so you could measure it. You could go like this way from this low, and you would say this is where you think that would likely go to, and you can see that that's where we ended up in Bitcoin. Or another way I used to measure it, I'd take my fib and put it on the close, and then I would move it so the 50% was at the gap, and then that's where you would expect it to go. So this distance and this distance, and that worked pretty well last night in Bitcoin, but it doesn't always work. But it was, let's be honest, but it was a pretty good trick. Here we are then, we've got a slightly lower high, we've reversed. And I do think that we are likely, with last week's bearish reversal candle, I think that we are at least likely, and these flat moving averages, to go back to the bottom of the range in Bitcoin. But we keep testing this 10,000 level, and at some point, there's a lot of supply at this 10,000 level. A lot of people keep trying to sell it here. At some point, supply will run out, and we will break through that 10,000 level. So you can only knock on at some point the sellers will run out. For me, a really nice, decent ABC correction, a really nice swing back to this, I'm dreaming a little bit because that's what I'd really like to see. But an ABC equal measured move back to this sort of 8,000 level, I think would be a lovely, a gift, in terms of where we would pull back to. So my fib rules, though, say if this is an 886 fib reversal, my fib rules say on this futures chart 74.40. So that's what I'm looking out for. 8,000, 7,500. Let's see. At the moment, it looks pretty toppy. We're holding above the 200 moving average pretty nicely, and that may all just be a pipe dream. So more sideways consolidation anyway.